How are you guys doing?
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for being here. I don't know if you guys know this, but part of the reason that we are here today is because we calculated our best-selling books so far of 2025, and the Oh Mary script was number 3.
What? You're all sick.
Sick.
That's actually pretty unusual for a play to be selling that many copies. And we're also talking about people are coming here and they're coming upon it on the stacks and they're buying it. It's not like we're pushing some big pre-order, they're not signed. People are coming and organically shopping here, coming across it and being like, I have to purchase this. So this came out in April, and we have sold over almost 1,500 copies of the script, which I think is so, so crazy. So my first question for all of you is, why do you think that people want to own this play?
I just feel disappointed that it's so high because I would expect our fans to shoplift, you know?
Totally. Are you gonna go?
Go.
No, please.
Here's the thing. I mean, I think we agree on this. It's there's a lot to say about the play, but it's a great play.
Yes.
It's a great play, first and foremost. It's an incredible piece of writing. We were just standing in the green room. Thank you. We were just standing in the green room talking about all of the ways that Cole changed the text as we were working on it, which was a lot. It's an incredibly meticulous piece of writing. And I don't know, I mean, you will know maybe why people buy it more than we will, but I do believe that it stands on its own as, wait for this word, literature.
Woo! And I also think that maybe, this is conjecture, but I feel like people are wondering what is on the page in a weird way. I feel like we got a lot of questions of oh, you must be improvising, it must change every night. But in fact, no. Not really at all. Everything really is on the page and you can check it in the book. It's all there, which I think is sort of, like you're saying, incredible as a piece of literature. We are, doing our best on stage, but really it's the play. 25% wig, let's say 70% the text and 5% weird faces. Is that a good math equation? As the director, do you approve? Okay.
You talked just now about how it changed from when you first encountered it to now, but I don't know, is there anything that feels major from the first time that you encountered the script to what might be printed in here today?
I mean, I would say that it's been streamlined. It hasn't, I wouldn't say changed, but streamlined, and a lot of Sam's brilliant direction. Why is that funny? It's true. No, I'm kidding. What was dramaturgical? I think Cole was very humble and worked very closely with Sam. And it seemed to me as, making sure, and this goes for the acting and the beats of the play, to keep it so elegant and so, and the pace so quick, so that it would be light, it would fly like balsa wood. I believe the goal was to not have anything extraneous, or to keep the train running to its destination and no unnecessary side trips that could drag, sort of like a swimmer shaving their body hair, And I think, I think there was a lot of very smart, judicious cuts, and Cole was, I think, very up for that, and that's how I saw it. Like, for example, the scene in the bar, there was 2 whole pages that were cut, which was not easy because my character had lines in them. A lot of them. It was the scene went on to talk about how close Mary and Bill. Mary and Bill were, and they were best friends. And I loved it because she treats Louise like doo-doo. But there's just this great line that ends the scene, and it didn't end the scene originally, but it was so clear that there was that going on beyond that brilliant line, and you'll have to read the script and buy the script to know what the line is. So it just, it was cut. It was like, nope, and the scene worked so much better for that.
We said a lot in rehearsal early on, like the play has so many 10s, we don't need 5s. Like if it felt like that's very mathematical, but like if it felt like a joke was a 5, we don't need, just get to the next 10. And I think it's also worth sharing, we were just having this exact conversation backstage. The play, does everybody here know the play? It would be like a little weird if you didn't. You don't! Oh, but hi, nice to see you. The big twists and turns of the play have always been the same. When I read the play for the first time now, like probably 4 years ago, the things that make Oh Mary what it is were there. But as Bianca says, like it was such a rigorous, like kind of focusing process and killing so many darlings. Like everybody's hearts were broken at various points towards a goal of making this thing not only efficient, but like a real ride. Like it's a real, when it works its best, it really stays ahead of the audience and is a ride to go on. And I think it's a ride to do this with too, because it just goes like, zing, zing, zing. But that was a real editing process for Cole.
The original script, I was told, had drawings in it that Cole did.
Yes. They're not in the...
I don't think that they're in
I
this.
thought they were in there.
I'm like, I don't think they're in there. But my question for you is, what did you learn from them as being part of the creative team? What did they help you glean in your process?
Just another talent of Escola, just, they were cute. They were, and
what were they of? I guess I haven't seen them.
So there were drawings for every scene. I wish I had them to show you. And they were like, it was like a crappy little drawing of a crappy little office. And it told me exactly what kind of play we were doing. Exactly what kind of play. So actually when I started the design process with all the designers, like that was the thing. And our research for the show was not like the actual Lincoln Oval Office. It was high school plays and community theater plays. And Cole's drawings indicated the world that we're in. We're in a world where when we go to the saloon, there's a mannequin playing the piano. That's the world. So it was actually like a real, also Cole is alive and I could ask them questions, but like those drawings were actually a real North Star for the tone of the thing. And were referenced, like even though we didn't do what the drawings are, like they really said, love it, but don't take it too seriously.
But also I think the drawings weren't necessarily a joke, which is also sort of our North Star for the play of like, the play is not a joke. This isn't a series of sketches. It is a play. And the drawings were Cole really trying to draw, yes. Which is like the ethos of the play is that we are actually all really trying really hard. And the characters ultimately are also all trying really hard and they want big things and the stakes are very high. And so I think the drawings are sort of like emblematic of that as well, of just like, it's not a joke, but like, what am I saying?
Yeah.
You know what you all know what I'm saying.
It's not a send up. Like we always talk about it as like, it's a comedy that thinks it's a drama. Yes. And frankly, like I'm happy to have two incredibly brilliant actors next to me. Like the sure way to fail it as an actor is to be like, I'm in a comedy, isn't this funny? And I mean, something that you've both done so brilliantly and that we've all done is just taken it really seriously. These characters want things, they feel things, the stakes are through the roof the entire time. Every single moment in the play is an emergency. And that it's dumb, but like that's yours to decide. Like we on the inside of it have to take this stupidity really seriously, and in a way like the drawings say like this is an earnest attempt at an office. It's not, isn't this so funny, this comedy office. It's an earnest attempt at an office in the same way that like if you're in high school doing a play, you're not like, we're gonna make this look bad. You're like, we're gonna make this look good with the thing we have to work with, which might not be a lot. And then you might look back on it and be like, that looked bad. But the impact, the initial impulse is taking it seriously.
Yeah.
I just want to say that one of my favorite details when you're first watching it is when they like start slamming doors and the walls shake. And that does take you like right back. It's like I'm in high school, and you know that's that whole thing. So you talked about the drawings being almost this like moment that helped you enter the script, and so maybe the answer for you guys too is the drawing. But I wonder is there a moment when you first encountered the script that had the like moment where you're like, oh, I get this. I get what this is. Is there something that you were looking for in your character that you're like, I'm cued in now?
That's a good question. I actually, trivia-wise, I got like a fake version of the script because I think when I auditioned, they didn't want any spoilers to be released. But it was still very funny, and I still loved it. But then when I got to rehearsal and we read it for the first time, I was like, oh, fuck. Shit, this is what happens. But honestly, I feel like I auditioned initially to play Louise. Bianca got it. But I think what really clued me into the play was that I taped for Louise, and then I also did the saloon scene with Bill, and it was like I wore wigs. It was a whole thing. But I feel like having those two scenes to contrast each other, I was like, oh, okay. This is kind of all coming together for me now.
I don't really have an, is this on? I don't really have an answer for that. I mean, I first got involved with a developmental table read in February of 2023.
Yeah, wow.
And, you know, I knew because there were actual producers there, and it was in the office of CAA, and most of the people there were eventually in the cast, and there was Cole there, and I don't know. I knew it was funny. I knew it was really, really well thought out, and also just, you know, forgive my French, but just fucking crazy. You know, I was like, ice cream. What is going on? And you know. I just did a show at Joe's Pub the other day.
It was amazing.
No, but
We loved it.
It was directed by my stand-up teacher, who in the stand-up class is always like, "What is your gift to the audience? What is your gift to the audience?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And it took me a really long time. And finally, my director was like, "Your gift to the audience is absurdity. You're being absurd, and you're pointing out the absurdity of the world and of life." And I instantly were like, that is why Cole and I get along so well. That's why we work so well, because that is Cole's gift. Cole is, it's not just really solid punchlines or a really solid plot or story. It is this bouncing ball of absurdity where it sort of makes sense, but it doesn't really make sense. And it's really funny, but you don't know why it's funny. And it's just, and also, you know, we were learning a lot about different punchlines and stuff. And I was in O'Mary when I was taking this class. And it was like, Cole had every type of humor, every type of punchline, and the kitchen sink. And it was like, this kid is a freaking genius. And so I just knew there was something very special and very different. And I didn't always understand. There are still jokes. I don't know why they're funny. I just don't. I don't. I just know that they are funny, and the audience delighted in them, and we just did them every night for, over 600 performances. So, but I guess it was that. I knew, I didn't know why, but I knew.
I want to give my friend Bianca Leigh credit because you, especially in the early days, were always very good about reminding us, like, Oh Mary is unique and Cole is singular. And we are not the first people to make lunatic, absurd drag comedy downtown. There is a long line of incredible artists who existed so that Oh Mary could exist. And Bianca, you were very, very good in the early days about summoning people like Charles Busch and Charles Ludlam, who many of us worship at the altar of and are why we're making theater. And I don't think that Oh Mary is a contemporary Charles Ludlam play, which I'm happy to talk to you about offline, but I do think that we wouldn't have Cole if it wasn't for the two Charleses. And it felt like, we rehearsed the show at La Mama in like a tiny room. Like, it felt like we were just doing a kind of theater that I personally long for and wasn't around for. And that felt really nice. I don't know. And you were really generous about reminding us that we were communing with the ancestors a little bit.
Well, I think we were. And I think what's great about Cole, I spent a lot of time raving about Cole. And I normally don't say nice things about anyone. But, Cole had a really good sense that they were sort of standing on the shoulders of Charles Ludlam and Charles Busch and Everett Quinton and, Joan Rivers and Lucille Ball.
That's right.
And yet we witnessed it was like that and beyond.
Right.
And, to work with somebody that's such a visionary, but that doesn't see themselves as a visionary. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that Cole for 1 minute thought, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to change the American play. I don't think for a minute, or I'm going to be up for was it Pulitzer Prize?
Yeah.
I don't think for
Prize
1 minute
finalist.
Cole thought, I'm going to, And I want to say something nice about you.
Oh, no.
Because I've worked with 4 Marys. And what was great is that each of them had a different take, and nobody really tried to shoehorn them into anybody else's performance. And I loved, being there and bouncing off of and supporting all of my Marys. And, Betty Gilpin was more into the sort of sad, desperate, unsatisfied side of Mary. And, Cole was sort of everything, And I would just say that Hannah, I think, really, you brought your own thing to it, but you were so really cognizant of Cole's performance, and you really tried to follow that and honor that while bringing it to yourself, and that really is a testament. And I'm so glad that I got to work with you before I left, because it was like it was us, but it also reminded me so much of Cole and getting back to the what we had carved out.
Totally.
And Titus was just, the biggest gay rodeo you could possibly imagine. I mean, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the play is so great because it holds really expansive over-the-top performances and more subtle, real acting performances. And it works either way.
That's great. I mean, I had all these questions for you about like how you brought your background of like cabaret and like solo shows, and you've really answered all that. You talked about working with the different Marys, so you've done my job too. So this is great. Hannah, I had a question for you, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, but because I know you ended up actually going on for the first time after it transferred to Broadway. But besides Cole, were you the first person to play Mary?
Yeah.
So I don't know, what was that like for you? Because I mean, you played as an understudy, and you also got a chance to do it like for those 2 weeks
Yeah.
in between. And so are those different experiences? Do you have more space in one of them to make it your own or not?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I never went on for Mary off Broadway, and I think I said to you at some point, like, really, the first time I'm gonna do it is on Broadway. You don't want to test it out at the Lortel first, but the first time I played Mary was on Broadway, and I was the first person after Cole to do it, which was incredibly daunting and so scary. And I think the first few performances were purely adrenaline based. And I remember going out on stage and then sort of remember waking up in curtain call. But I've been able to do the show now. I've almost lost count, I guess. So it's like been over like 30 times now. And I keep saying to people, like, please come back now, because I feel like I'm only just, not that I'm figuring it out, but I had it figured out. Okay, I was good, but I do feel like that is what is also so amazing about the play, is that, and you've talked about this before too, like even in just doing it over and over, it's like, oh my gosh, wait, that's what that is, or dependent on the audience and who you're playing with, it continually evolves and changes, and now I feel like I'm at a place where Mary and me are like sort of meeting in the middle, and it's not one of those like sort of Instagram posts where someone's like, dear Mary, you've taught me so much, but I do feel like we are kind of now meshing into one in a really fun way, and Sam and Cole have been so generous in being like, yes, do what you do. There's no need to copy what anyone else is doing. And so I feel like now I'm really getting to have fun and not be panicked that the show will close because I ruined it, you know? But it's like the best time in the world. I'm just so lucky. And I hope people feel that when they read it alone in their house too. It's just like so fun to do and say out loud.
Sam, how do you cast an understudy role, both in general, but also for like how do you have someone go on in an understudy role for a performance like Cole's?
You meet Hannah Solow and you say, never leave. No, I mean, honestly, so actually, I'd like to show everyone my favorite part of the play, the published play, which are 3 notes from Cole Escola. Number 1, protect all of the surprises of the show. Number 2, don't let the audience get ahead of the story. Number 3, the stakes are high and everyone means what they say. Those are also the 3 pieces of directing in the show.
I was going to say that you said
Girl, I did that. But that is how the best actors succeed in the play. And it's really tricky because it feels like, especially if you've only seen it once, like Broadway's wackiest comedy. Like, this is a hat now. But actually, you know, I've had the great privilege of auditioning for this show a lot, and I leave to do it in London tomorrow. So I've heard a lot of people do the text, and the best people, especially for understudies, are the folks who just come in and say the language clearly and don't take pauses and take it really seriously. Because this text is good enough that you're just, if you're inside of that, playing it for real, it's fucking hilarious. And if you come in and you're like, here's my decorations, it is still funny, but it isn't as fierce as it could be. And it certainly isn't as much of a ride for the audience, which is what we want. We actually care about the audience. So we have incredible understudies in the building right now. And they are nimble and they're really great with the text and they listen. Like it's so basic, but like actually like the process of rehearsing O'Mary was like quite straightforward. Like it just felt like we were doing a play. And I think that the understudies who have had the most success have really taken that seriously. And Hannah is is currently the understudy for Mary and also was Mary number 5 on Broadway. And that is a different thing. And I just want to like really underline that like there's space to be like, and now this is mine. And I hope you all have the experience of seeing Hannah in the show. She has some dates next month.
Hey, come this Sunday.
Hey.
And
but,
she understudies Louise, too.
That's true.
Only went on once for Bianca.
And that was all
How many shows did you do?
on
Total?
Broadway?
Yeah.
420 or something?
Applaud.
perfect
yes.
attendance. Perfect attendance.
There's this like incredible clip. I don't know if you've ever seen it from like a Hollywood Reporter roundtable of like Minnie Driver and like Emmy Rossum, and they're like talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? They're
I'm
like,
embarrassed that I don't know that.
well, they're like Minnie Driver, and I can't remember who the other person. I think it's Pamela Adlon maybe, but they're talking about like how comedy and drama are completely different, and they're like, yes, it's so different. And Emmy Rossum is like, actually, I think they're completely the same. Like it's about
yes, Emmy Rossum.
it's about finding the truth, and Minnie Driver is kind of like whatever, and it's an incredible like gossipy clip. But I will say that me and my boyfriend are always like the Emmy Rossum School of Acting, and Oh Mary is the perfect example of the Emmy Rossum School of Acting.
100%.
I just want to say that even though I have done a lot of cabaret and sang in nightclubs and things like that, I've been an actress since 1968. Wow. Yes. So I was a child star. And the only reason I got involved in bars, nightclub and stuff is that trans people were really essentially barred from doing anything high profile with large budgets, the commercial theater, certainly Broadway. So, and I did a lot of downtown theater, stuff like that. And it's just really important for me to say that. And what was great is we not only sort of, this is the type of play until very recently would not have been allowed above 14th Street. Certainly not been allowed, to go from off-Broadway to Broadway. Things have changed a lot. But as far as, the comedy thing is, I would do an emotional preparation, because I'm trained, Meisner trained, and people are like, why are you doing an emotional preparation for Oh Mary? I go, because the more that I believe that, well, I want to talk a little bit about, I'm paraphrasing, but when we went from off-Broadway to Broadway, we went back into the room, and Sam said basically something like, what do we do now? How do we take advantage of this time? Well, we have enough laughs. We do not need any more laughs. So where do we go? We go deeper. We want to deepen the relationships and raise the stakes. And, so it went from Louise being upset that Mary was like, to her being heartbroken, that, and that really helped a lot, and everything, and if you were, if you feel betrayed, like it's really a betrayal. And, obviously, Abraham Lincoln became quite, a monstrous. And it worked. It worked. But I think there's always room for theatricality. You never forget you're in a theater, and you never forget, it's a conversation with the audience. When you're giving them energy and information, and they're giving back to you, and sometimes it is a double take, and sometimes it is a bit or whatever.
But the root is truth.
But without the truth, then it's meaningless.
And to your point, like, these are people. They're not I'm picturing floppy Muppets, which in some ways they are, but like at the root of it, these are people. Yeah. Again, it's not a sketch. Like, I know I said that before, but like when you're talking about your emotional preparation, it's like, yeah, like the shit that they go through in this play is intense.
And they're horrible to each other.
They're so horrible to each other. Like, And I feel like those emotions are so true. Like at the end of scene 3, when I'm walking over to the couch for Mary's teacher to come in, like I'm so fucking mad at him. Like it's so real. He's so fucking rude. Like
He's an asshole.
yeah, it's like that, and that is so genuine, and that like fuels the next scene, and the comedy comes from a place of like I'm so upset and mad. Yeah, sorry, I just sort of went to a place.
You're not like you're not up there being like they're gonna laugh if I hit this pillow a certain way.
Right.
You're just like I hate Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
So I actually saw the opening night, and I almost kind of went on a whim. Like I was like, I love Cole Escola. I'll buy tickets. They're tickets to opening night. Best decision I've ever made. And it was just like, but when I got there, it was like I should have known this, but it was just like me and every gay person I know, and like every gay person that like follows me on the internet, but I've never met in real life. But then to see that, and then to watch it become this crossover hit where it's like mainstream but doesn't lose any of its niche sensibility. I don't know, when did you know that this was all of a sudden going to be like a thing? What marked that for you?
Gotcha. I was thinking about we were going to be asked this question, and for me, the surprise is always getting the job. You know, once you get the job, because there's just so many people. This was a direct offer, but it was like for the most part, you know, once you get the job, anything could happen. And once a bunch of people are thrown in together, anything could happen. It could be a hit. It could be a bomb, you know. But for me, it was nobody could get a ticket downtown. Everybody's like, how could I get a ticket? How do I get a ticket? How do I get a ticket? Sold out, sold out, sold out. And honey, once there's money to be made.
Yeah, I mean, I would answer that 2 ways. The first is a moment in rehearsal with Bianca Leigh. Do you remember this? We took the elevator up together.
Oh, yes.
And it was like the second week of rehearsal, and I can't remember who said it, but one of us said, I just keep waiting for a piano to fall out of the sky.
That was you who said that.
Because something about this feels very good.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean this is going to be a massive hit that's going to run on Broadway for 1,000 years. It just felt like, oh, we got the right people in the room to do the right thing at the right time. And that is just alchemical. And it felt like we had a little secret. And then the doors opened and we were like, we can't speak of this ever again.
No.
And then there was a moment, you know, we were like, we're going to go to Broadway for 12 weeks for the summer and some gay guys are going to see it. Like, that was it. But there was a moment in like July, like a month into our Broadway run, where I like snuck in and stood in the back at like a 5 p.m., which is my favorite thing to do. I just like watched 20 minutes of it. And I looked around and I was like, wait a second. These people are on vacation. Like, these people watching this show are on their New York trip, and they chose between this and Aladdin. Which, like, lovingly, like, I'm so happy they're having an amazing time. Like, that's not really who we were thinking about when we made this play downtown. And I appreciate you saying what you said about it being uncompromised, because it's felt that way. If anything, it's felt like it's become more itself, and we've become fiercer about what it is. And it's gotten louder and gayer and stupider. And I just like watched an audience that I previously had not given much credit to eat it up. And I was like, oh, right. Actually, everyone's going through hell. And actually, everyone needs a laugh.
Yes.
And this delivers that. And maybe I shouldn't be such a fucking snob and be happy that, like, strangers are sitting in a room together laughing, because that's the whole point of the art form. But it was a genuine surprise. And frankly, running on Broadway for more than 12 weeks was a genuine surprise. Like, when we decided to move to Broadway, I think we were all like, this will be so fun, and then it'll be over in September. Here we are.
And here we are.
There's also something in the script that's very universal, and Cole is extremely intelligent, but not in that bookish, pedantic way. And I would say that some of my playwright friends, and I love them, and probably myself as well, you know, throw in a lot of intellectual and cultural references, you know, And Cole just made something very universal.
Nothing brings people together like ice cream on the pussy, you know?
You said it.
I want to ask you a couple fun questions because I'm running out of time for my questions. One of them is on the 88th anniversary of Amelia Earhart's disappearance. I saw a really funny tweet by a Twitter user named Sean Doherty that said, "Need Cole Escola next season on Broadway in Amelia. Oh yeah, I'm back." And I was wondering, is there another historical figure that feels ripe for an Oh Mary treatment? But honestly, take that wherever you want.
No.
Well, I would like to see Cole do Jackie Kennedy, and then I could be Lee Radziwill.
Oh, wow.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Or a rotating version of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And we just go back and forth between George and Martha. But they're not historical figures, but
They are to gay people.
yeah.
That's true. I used to say Amelia Earhart when I would get this question, so I'll have to speak to Sean Doherty about this, about the rights to this project, because I do believe she was gay, and I have been sort of like ruminating myself on a musical where she actually didn't get lost. She chose to go to an island and be with a bunch of women. So look out for that.
Or she's wandering around the cubbyhole to this day.
Yes. Okay, Bianca, you're in.
Do you guys know that Amelia Earhart taught drama classes at the theater now known as the Greenwich House Theater? That's a real fact. Yes. That building is also where they brought the Titanic survivors. Anyway, just like that just feels like
That's a
rare
play.
book room energy, you know? I don't have an answer to this question, and I'm asked it a lot. And part of why is because I think we talk a lot, like Cole didn't do any research to write the play, and we didn't do any research to make the play because it didn't seem relevant. So I know as much about Mary Todd and Abraham Lincoln as I did in second grade. And to me, the fun of it is taking a name that people know, that if you ask 3 things about them, they're like, oh, no, I don't have that. So I would feel very nervous, actually, to approach a historical character who folks have real attachments to. Although the Mary Todd Lincoln community has been very supportive.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that they weren't. That's
No.
scary.
They've come around.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite celebrity visit? I've seen the craziest, biggest people come see this show.
Oh my gosh.
Was there anyone that meant a lot to you?
I mean, they all were amazing. I mean, it was just amazing. Patti LuPone, because when I came down into the green room, she saw me and she went, "Brava, brava!" And I thought, Patti LuPone just said, "Brava," to me, and I said, now I can die. And then also, I get more excited about people from my era. And Goldie Hawn and her family was there, and Kurt Russell and her daughter Kate. And I was trying to, because I have to take my costume off or whatever, I was trying to avoid, but then Goldie and I, we just sort of boom, and we locked eyes. And she went, "Ah!" And I went, "Ah!" And we ran into each other's arms, and it was like, she gets it. Goldie gets it. Two ditzy blondes. We just hugged, and it was beautiful.
This is a really gay answer, but it's cool when people who do the thing that you do come and say nice things.
Yes.
John Waters was a really big one. Like I couldn't believe that John Waters came to see the play and also said nice things.
And also was like, they're doing a hairspray in, where were they doing it? Somewhere so random, remember? Yes. Like, I want to say Dubai, but that can't be right.
Yes.
They're not doing hairspray in Dubai, I assume.
Yeah, I don't
He just
remember.
was so normal and cool.
Yeah, he was. So like, anytime there's like just people that I love, especially directors. I mean, Steven Spielberg came in like week 3 at the Lortel. And we were like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was before we even knew like you should wear nice clothes. They're gonna take a picture. Like I look back at that picture and we're all just like in our sweatshirts, like.
That actually was kind of the moment where we were like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Also, do you know who sat behind Steven Spielberg at the Lortel? Jane Krakowski.
Whoa!
Yeah.
So funny.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
I was standing next to Steven Spielberg, and I was like, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? Quick, think of something. And we were breaking up after the photograph, and I said, quick, tell me about Joan Crawford and Night Gallery. Because that was his first directing job out of school.
Whoa.
And he was like, oh my God. You know, so he told me about Joan Crawford, which is a whole other thing. You know, when I write my book, we'll talk about that.
Since we're at the Strand, I would love to know if you are reading anything good right now, if you have a book recommendation or like an evergreen. I will put this in anybody's hands.
Ooh, okay. I am reading, this is a recommendation from Nathan Lane, not to me, he said it on a podcast, but we're not close like that. But it is called The Method. It's about like the origins of acting, and it's really, really dense, and I'm like trying so hard to get through it, but it's by Isaac Butler. It's really so interesting. It's like about the origins of like who Stanislavski was and how it all began, and then how that method transferred to America. It's just like so fascinating. It's long and dense, and I am also slogging my way through it because also like I haven't read in so long, and I think I've forgotten how, but I'm learning, and that is my recommendation. I also really love Enda Walsh, the playwright. I feel like I like plays where I go and see them, and I am like, what is, and kind of to the point of what Mary, I'm like, what is even in that script? Like, I saw Let the Right One In at St. Anne's and was like, wait, what is on the page? And then like to go by it is so interesting to me. So those are my recommendations.
The first thing that comes to mind, I've had a big year. The highs have been high and the lows have also been low. And a moment came this summer where I like thought I was gonna die, and I was like, wow, this is a moment where like I think some people begin reading the Bible. This is not when I recommend the Bible, don't worry. And there's an amazing book by Anne Lamott called Bird by Bird, which is a book that is about writing, but it's also just about the creative process and being alive. It's why I have these tattoos. And so I picked that book up again, and I was like, this white lady from the Bay Area has some shit to say. And I began systematically working my way through Anne Lamott's entire catalog, and I'm happy to report that I went to the basement of the Strand and I bought everything she had. And she has, I'm doing two, I'm sorry. She has a book about prayer called Help, Thanks, Wow, which are the 3 essential prayers. You may notice that now on my hands say help and thanks. So I'm big into Anne Lamott, and I have 2 Anne Lamott tattoos thanks to her books, which is so embarrassing and also who I am.
I'm not reading anything right this second because I'm furiously streaming about the Murdoch murders on Hulu. So it's so great. But I thought the question was going to be about the Strand, and I used to work across the street, and I got a book here. It's The Master and Margarita by Mikhail, is it Bulgakov or Bulgakov? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Bulgakov. I think. Now I'm scared.
You know, Mickey. And it's one of my favorite books, and I got it right here at the Strand. And I also got one of my other favorite books, which is The Vagabond, by Colette. And I also got that here. She's also she's probably my favorite author. So, you know, look around downstairs and buy some other books as well.
Wait, what was across the street when you worked there? What did you work?
New York Society for the Deaf. I worked at New York Society for the Deaf.
And was it was it on the ground or was it in one of the?
It was like, you know, it was across the street, like in the A17 Broadway or something.
Incredible. Sorry, I love any history about the neighborhood. We better clip that, you guys, for the documentary. Okay, well, we're going to take some questions from the audience. So I did warn them all that this was coming. So if you guys don't raise your hand, I'm going to be really mad. We got one in the front. There's a mic coming from the side.
Hi, I wanted to ask because something I've read online that seems very unique for O'Mary is that people buy tickets months in advance, even though it hasn't been announced who Mary's going to be, and because they just trust the process, it'll be an excellent person. And then if you read on Reddit, they say, "Oh my God, I'm so excited because it's somebody announced for it." So I wanted to ask, what's sort of the process of going to finding a Mary for the future?
I'll take this one. I think that we have learned that the play, as has been said already, can hold a lot. And I think for Cole and I, the thing that is exciting is to continue to do things we've never done before. Of course, every great actor is different, but like, I think because we have this incredible opportunity to continue to run the play, which none of us expected, and it doesn't feel like it's like, we gotta get the Real Housewives in there. We gotta make money. Like, that's like, no one's saying that to us. And also, the minute we do that is the minute that the play sucks and the heart gets zapped out of it, and we betray the people that it means something to, some of whom I assume are sitting here. So it's sort of two things. Like, one is, what is a wild move that like we haven't seen before that like continues to expand who this woman is, and how can it also be true in one way or another to the heart of the thing? Which I know that sounds very woo-woo. And some of that is like the fun of the whiplash of the order of things. It's like, wait, Titus Burgess replaced Cole Escola, and then Jinx Monsoon, and then Jane Krakowski? What the fuck is going on? But yeah, I think we're like excited to continue to think about her differently and look at her differently. And, you know, frankly, like I hope, you know, my husband who's here, his mother is very active in a community theater in Indiana. And I think about her a lot. And I think about this play being done at that community theater in Indiana. And I think about like the great actress in that community in Indiana who like usually has one scene getting to be the lead. And that's really exciting to me. So I'm just like excited to see every version of Mary, and I'm also excited for it to like stay kind of like messy and dank and queer, even though it's this weird Broadway hit. And I have no guesses as to what that means actually practically.
I also just want to say for the record that I think this show has like the best like replacements I've ever seen like of all time. Like, I mean, it's like the stuff that like you only dream about. Like you see fan castings online and you're like, that would never happen though. And like each time it's like, I'm going to kill myself. This is incredible.
It's a good play. It's a well-written play, and we've learned that actors like to play good parts.
I mean, getting a name is always going to be part of it. That's the reality. However, you could not hire someone that did not have incredible performing chops. It just would that's the only thing that would fall apart.
Yeah, and it's a workout. It's not for the faint of heart.
You have to be extremely talented.
Did we?
Sorry.
Oh, no, please.
No, I was just gonna say I was talking to Cheyenne Jackson, who's currently playing Mary's teacher, and he was even like, I'm so tired. Like this is, like it's not just Mary. It's like the train is leaving the station, and you better be on it or you're gone. And like everyone comes off stage being like, what just happened? Like it's really a lot for all the roles, I feel like.
I think a lot of the supporting, like I always felt that Louise is a sprint, like it was like you have to run on stage like a lunatic and ba 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 ba, and then whoever's playing Mary, it's more, I keep touching, I'm sorry.
No, please.
It's more of a marathon.
Totally.
So you got the marathon and the sprinters. And it was always, we always joke that, you know, Mary's our baton and we're doing a relay race. And it was like, okay, I got her. Okay, we got three. Okay, I'm handing her off to you,
And
you
she's
know,
like,
whoever's playing Abraham Lincoln. And it was just like carrying, you know, helping and, you know, we got you, you know. And I you know, when I was younger, And I was in acting class. They would say, you're only as good as your scene partner. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. Because I wanted to show them what I could do. You know, I could act with a broomstick. And I have. But I really, really learned that with Mary. You know, it was like going out there with Cole and, you know, and then it was just looking at each other and literally like communicating. It's like a trapeze to me. It's like you know, trying to communicate that to Cole, or even, you know, to Hannah and Betty and Ted. It's like, I have you. I got you. Let go, and fly. I will catch you, you know. And it became so much more about the other actor and responding to the other actor, which is what they were trying to teach us to begin with. But it was like, that's what's, because it's most of the scenes, almost all the scenes are twofers, you know, and it's just, you just, you know, it's a dance.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your time and everything. My question is, from like an acting standpoint, I feel like seeing a lot of the performances, like the choices that were made, like if I were to go on, I feel like I would like kind of take inspiration from them. So I guess like my question is, how did you make the role for yourself and make new fun creative choices that were led by your own like intuition and desires as an actor? And I guess Sam, for you as well, like how did you help actors to find that for themselves?
I think that's such a good question, and also as an understudy, it's been like a really interesting process of coming almost from the outside in. But I think what ultimately is so helpful is that there is this really strong structure and the play and the blocking, and you know that you have to go here and say this line, and that is so helpful in just grounding it in the truth. And then on top of that, ultimately, it's really been about like letting yourself be, especially with Mary, just like I've always thought of like she really follows her impulses, and as a character, when she's like very upset, she's very upset, and she like there's no part of her that is like, I'm not allowed to do this, which is helpful as an actor to be playing this character where it's like, yeah, I can kind of do whatever I want because she feels like she can kind of do whatever she wants. But for me, a lot of the acting challenge has been like getting out of my own way and just sort of letting go in a weird way. I have a Post-it on my mirror that says "Don't look back," because the second that I'm on stage thinking like, how did that scene go, or did I get the laugh that I wanted? Oh gosh, I should have turned my head this way and whatever. The play has already moved on and you're no longer present. And so like that has been just something that I've held on to of like, nope, we are moving forward, and just like you have to someone pushes you out on stage and you're there, and that's kind of it. I don't know. It's a really wonderful acting challenge in a way of staying present and also of allowing like disgusting and weird parts of yourself to be free.
And I watched, you know, when you're coming in and there's such an iconic performance in Blazing, because you watched Colder times. And I think you honored Cole's performance, but also it's like you were smart. This happened to me once when I was doing something that had been on television. You let the Coleness you just wore it lightly and you honored it. But the more you did it, the more you came through.
And like my goal is to honor Cole. I literally texted them last week being like, all I do is care about what you think of me. Like like Cole came and saw the show and I texted them after just being like, do you have any notes? Like I really care so much about what they think, because like I genuinely like believe what they've done is so incredible, and I would feel horrible to let them down in any way. And, you know, I'll talk to my therapist about that. But like, I really just always want to honor the text of the play and the vision. And I've had similar conversations with Sam where I'm like, am I doing good? But like, I really just like care so deeply about the play, and like that is our guiding light as actors, is like, you've always said, like, just say the lines. Just like, when in doubt, just say the lines. Like, it is all there. Yeah, like spit it out and say the lines, no pauses.
What's that? There's Cole told me this Katharine Hepburn quote. I'll find it. There's a Katharine Hepburn quote that's like, do whatever you want as long as you don't act.
Yeah.
Like, just don't act. And I've had actors be like, literally look me in the eye and be like, I hate you for saying that. But I do think that like the most interesting stuff gets created in the place between like us and actually, like, I know it's cool for actors to be like, I disappeared in the role. But like, I don't want you to disappear. Right. Like, you're cast because you're you. Like, Bianca Leigh's Louise could only be Bianca Leigh's Louise. And that's what's special. Hannah's Mary could only be Hannah's Mary. I think it's fun when actors are like, no, I'm me inside of this. I'm me, because theater's fake. It's fake. Like, that is actually the fun of it, is crashing a human and a character together. And I think it's something that has happened really successfully with O'Mary in its life.
Interesting. I have to also say, I could be wrong, but it seemed to me that Cole was so open and watching the other Marys. I think they also informed Cole's performance somewhat. I think Cole's original Mary was really, really sadistic. Yeah. And I think she became a little softer, especially like after watching Betty, became a little bit more just desperately unhappy and mean, but you know, a little less psychotically sadistic. It was very interesting to see us gather from each other and, you know, help each other with that.
Hi. So the piece moves like a ballet, like it's like fully choreographed. I would love to hear more about the development of the movement, like how much of it came from the actors, if any of it came from pre-production, and how that kind of morphs depending on like the cast that comes in, because it never feels forced. It always looks so natural, but it's the same for every person. I just would love to hear about that.
I really want to have a smart answer for this, because I get asked this question a lot. You know, yes, I am also a choreographer, and at no point was I like, there's choreography. Like, I mean, I love, there's a surprise in the show that I'm not talking about because we're filming it, and like, it's fun that there's actually some choreography there, and like, it was fun to do that. But by and large, I would say that it's actually more to me about when we started the play, Cole Escola is not capable of marking. They attack at 110%. Like, when we did the table read of this play, they were like pouring with sweat by the second scene. And so they're setting the bar, right? That they're setting the bar for what this thing is. And frankly, like, okay, well, I'm the director that you got, and I am a choreographer, and I believe in working very physically. So, you know, we have a rehearsal practice where like everybody does a dumb warm up every day, and I expect, and frankly got, everyone to like really sink their teeth into the play physically and to operate at extremes. The play lives in extremes. So it was less about thinking about some kind of intentional choreography or physical life, and more just in the making of it being like, okay, that's the truth. How do we do that the most? And often that expresses physically. And then to the last part of your question, in the repetition of that, it did become kind of choreographic. And frankly, like, we learned that like there's certain things that are just funny. So when new Marys come in, there is a structure that they're dropping into, and there's also freedom to play within that. Like, for example, there's this little sequence that's very complicated where Mary realizes that she can't get off the desk. And every single Mary has had kind of their own approach to that physical comedy, but the brackets of it are, it's physical comedy. And we have to, it's my job to sharpen that, which I only sometimes do successfully. But it just came from, I think, the play being super physical, being a given circumstance. Does that answer your question?
My close personal friend Goldie Hawn. She said, Bianca, no, she didn't say, she didn't know my name. She said, it's like you and Cole were dancing.
Yeah.
It's like you and Cole were dancing up there. And I took that as a supreme compliment.
Yeah.
And I think part of that came out of, just, a natural aristocratic bearing. But also the hoop skirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to, do like intensive physical training to master the hoop skirt. Otherwise, it was going to pull my back out. So I had to do squats and planks and all this stuff every day, so that eventually it was like, it wasn't hurting me. It was like, oh, this skirt is my bitch now. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I'll do a little figure eight, and maybe I'll do a little, and then, or I'm gonna run to Mary like I'm, Scarlett O'Hara, like, and it was fun and intuitive, and Cole acts from head to toe, but Cole acts a lot with their feet. So if you watch, there's like a little dance happening a lot of times under the hoop skirt, because there's just a lot of movement to and fro. And even in real life, Cole was sort of like, Cole make a joke and do it like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
It's a sideways little dance. And just to have that movement and to work with somebody and moving around, it's meaningful, but we weren't like trained. You have to do it. I think it's instinctual, and it's informed by the costume. And it's just fun.
Yes.